Hello and welcome to Three Sisters, One Heart podcast. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Shannon.
I'm Heather.
And this week we're talking about the three people that we most aspire to be like or that have maybe influenced our lives the most in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Now this topic was a little tricky for me. I thought it would be like really easy to just kind of pick, but I realized that I've influenced by a lot of people in my life, very many people for different reasons. And it was kind of funny because we were talking about this topic, and I originally thought we were going to pick three women that we are most inspired by or admire, and it was easier for me to pick three women. But when you said that it's three people, like it just opened up so many possibilities. And I was talking to Nova about it and, just talking to her about how like it's difficult. Like, how do you choose? Like, everyone brings a little something different to the table. And like, I love people and I love hearing people's different stories. And, so everyone has something that you can like learn from. Mm-hmm. So I told her it's kind of like, you're making everyone brings a different spice or flavor, and like together it makes like a really delicious gumbo.
Yeah.
So I'll be really interested to hear like what you guys ended up coming up with, and how like they maybe vary or the same. Mm-hmm. First off, let me just say apologies. We do have kids running around.
Thank you. I was about to do that. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
We can't always be kid free.
Yes. Imagine.
Right.
So you might hear kids going in and out a little bit, but hopefully not as much as to be a disturbance. So before we get into our topics though, let's go ahead and go over our trials of the week. So I didn't have a real like set trial this week, which is great. This week was one of those weeks that just kind of come and went and was just okay. If I had any trouble this week, I would say it was mostly just over motivation. Every once in a while I start to get into this like schlumpy, like you're going through the motions of life kind of feelings. Yeah. And I was feeling that a lot this week. Like, gotta wake up in the morning, another workout, gotta go to work. Like, and then, go through everything, go to sleep, and repeat it again. I just was feeling like everything was kind of mundane. But to counteract that, I took a lot of downtime this weekend, which I struggle with, surprisingly. I struggle with downtime because it's like, there's always something that needs done. Always.
And there's like that guilt factor.
Oh, almost. For sure. I did not leave my house yesterday. I did not put a bra on. I was pajama bound all day long, and it was so nice. And I'm hoping that it will kind of like push me past that lack of motivation and roll me in a more positive kind of way into this upcoming week.
Like you're able to be like, no, I gave myself the downtime. Yeah. It's time to do work. Yeah. It's time to get going.
Hence why I have a clean house this weekend.
It looks great.
Yeah, you were able.
And it's not almost done, but it's like a quarter of the way done. My laundry, and it's folded.
Oh.
I've folded. Okay.
There you go.
I have to
and that is my weakness.
Tonight.
I hate folding laundry and I hate putting it away. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I just want to fold it all, sort through what I'm keeping, what I'm not, because I've already gotten rid of 2 trash bags full of the boys' clothes, because they have way too much.
Yeah. And then
they're really rough on their clothes, everything, so.
I used to be really bad about folding laundry, and I don't let myself not fold a load of laundry.
I want to try and get into that habit. It's a goal before the baby comes to make better household habits, if that makes sense. Like, out of the 3 of us, I'm not the cleanliest. Like, it's not like I'm like have a disgusting house. It's just it's got kid crap all over. It's got just.
That's okay. I'm barely a notch above that. Shannon is the cleaner in the family.
And I'm not even really lately. Like,
well, you go through phases.
It was before my mental situation. I hate to say issues. Like, it just is what it is. It's not like a negative thing. It just is what it is. But
before your awareness of your mental health.
Right. There we go. I like that.
It wasn't that, you knew something was going on.
Yeah, I have OCD tendencies. And so I was definitely over the top over a clean house and whatever. And I definitely still like things clean, but it's not perfect by any means.
Who doesn't like something clean?
Yeah.
You know?
I feel better now that like I'm like, okay, getting laundry done, getting everything sorted, just have like my mental checklist, because I don't write shit down, I'll be honest.
Oh, I'm a lister. I do.
Oh,
I have my
lister
list
too.
in my head, but I don't write it down.
I mean, for anything.
And I know everyone says you should write it down to get that satisfaction, but
Oh yeah.
It,
in my brain.
If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you though.
That's interesting, like with the folding and stuff, like my kids are older, so like I do mine and Chris's laundry, they do their own laundry for the most part. I mean, I'll go in and I'll grab like towels and stuff.
I fold
they
their
end up
laundry,
being, like, there are
they
no towels.
put them in their drawers.
That's
Granted,
good.
all of them are in every drawer, but to be honest, me and Bobby have all our clothes in every drawer as well. So we're not
Well,
like, this drawer's this drawer's this.
Yeah.
We're like, look, I got clean clothes, and I know there's clean clothes in every drawer.
Yeah.
I don't
Part
care
of
which
letting
drawer
them
is.
help you is
Really?
letting go of that control factor.
Although I have to say for myself that a lot of things for me, because I was the same, like washing laundry all day long. I'll switch laundry over. I have no problem with that, but it will sit in a
It's
bin.
terrible at remembering to
forever
switch
clean.
over. So
Yeah.
multiple times I'm like, all right, it's been an hour. You know it's done. Go get it.
Right.
It's been an
Like
hour.
you have to
Go
wash
get it.
something 3
Man,
times
nothing-
before you
Yes.
remember. Oh.
Burns my biscuits more than the sour laundry, and knowing you have to take that time to wash it again and
Which
waste all that energy.
after this, can someone hang out with the kids so I can run to the store and get some laundry detergent? Because I'm out.
you need laundry?
I do.
I could have brought you some.
Don't
Forgot
forget
about
that.
it.
It's okay. It's okay.
But wait, what was your
You're
trial
forgiven.
though?
So I was gonna use the fact that I've been sick the past week, but I had a feeling yours was gonna be the same.
Well, no, let's
So-
just get it out there. You were both sick this past week, and it sucked.
It did. It really sucked.
And actually, we did not do a podcast episode for this past weekend because they were like
So
coughing, sore throat sick. So.
which is why I
had
keep
no
coughing
voice.
now. So I apologize. Good news, it's not COVID.
I did. I went and
Yay.
got COVID tested. We're good. I had bronchitis really, really bad. Apparently, and I'm not a doctor, whatever, but apparently it's hard to see bronchitis on an x-ray. They looked for pneumonia, but bronchitis is different. But if they can see it on an x-ray, they're like, it's pretty bad. So,
Matthew got diagnosed with bronchiolitis from an X-ray.
yeah. It has to be like real. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like you
and I was
barely
told
have.
I was crazy for taking them to the doctor, and I
Ugh.
didn't have anybody with me. That I was I was pissed.
I hate when they try
By
to
the
tell
way,
you're
have
crazy.
you ever seen a 15-month-old have an X-ray?
No. Oh,
Ariana is
God.
always.
Traumatizing. Okay.
Oh, is it?
They're in like a tube,
Oh, I've seen
and they're
that.
like this.
We've never had to
and
do
they're-
that.
It's
Not fun. Yeah.
no.
No, but it was really, really bad, and I didn't initially think it was COVID, but we do have people in our family that are immunocompromised, so it was important to me to get tested to make sure that it was negative, before I went around anybody, because I knew I was sick, but it wasn't like I was in the hospital or anything
Right.
like that.
I didn't feel it was COVID because I felt like, especially with being pregnant, that it would have knocked me down a lot more than it did. Yeah, I didn't feel good. I was still able to function. I was super congested and I had a cough. But I felt like I never once got a fever. I was checking all the time.
That was my only saving grace and why I thought it wasn't COVID. 'Cause I
Never
didn't
got
have
the
a
fever. I never got body aches, any of it.
I did.
I was tired and I was just felt like a bad head chest cold.
No, I was down, and I called out of work, and I don't do that.
That's like when I had the flu last year.
That
It was the
was
first
actually
time
my
I
trial.
ever called out of work.
What is your trial then?
My actual trial is I'm super, super anxious because tomorrow is the anatomy scan for the baby, and it's at a different office than I'm used to going. This one is an hour away versus my half hour away, which is already long enough. And it's in Jacksonville. I don't like driving to Jacksonville unless it's to base because I know exactly where I'm
it is.
going.
Yeah.
And I'm going alone. That makes me even more nervous.
Yeah.
And because I'm going alone, I'm regardless of being alone or not, I'm still scared that what if during this anatomy scan they see something wrong with her and I'm all by myself an hour away from home and then I have to drive back with like
That
upsetting
was
news.
scary, but
God forbid I'll come get you.
but yeah, someone will
But
come get you.
I'm sure everything is fine.
Yeah, I'm curious about this because I don't recall ever having had an anatomy scan. What
It's
does
the
that have to
anatomy
do with?
scan is basically the gender.
It's usually
One.
when you find out the gender.
Oh,
But there's a
that's
lot of
the same thing.
yeah, but there's just a lot of important stuff that happens.
They're looking
during
at the
that.
heart, the kidney, all the organs, making sure they're all in place, making sure the spine
Legs are
looks
the right
good.
length.
Yep.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I'm
Don't
I'm
stress.
super scared that they're gonna be like, oh well, she's actually it's not viable.
No.
Like, and I'm
Yeah.
terrified, especially since we lost the last one. Not right now. Sorry.
Me to close the door and I'm praying on it.
It's a rough life. But I think everything's gonna be okay. I think you have to have a positive mindset. And it's so
I'm
hard,
really
but like
trying hard. It's just, I'm more scared
fake
because
it
I'm
till
gonna
you
be
make it.
alone and. I
No,
don't know.
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like lickety split. You're gonna get in there. They're gonna be like, cool, cool, cool.
Oh yeah, I've never been there. They want me there a half hour early. I'm like, freaking half
Why?
hour.
and you'll still be
paperwork.
waiting for an
Oh
hour
my God.
afterwards.
And it's a longer ultrasound because they've got to check everything on her.
Yeah.
And I'm just scared.
I get
It's
it.
okay. It's gonna be okay.
It's nerve wracking,
It
but
is.
you've got to fake it till you make it. Be
So
as
far, so
positive as
good.
possible.
Yes, she's moving
No
a bunch.
signs of anything
no,
negative.
yeah, no signs that
And yeah, and
something's
you did
wrong.
recently start feeling her move.
I did. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, is that your husband again? Does he only
No.
call on podcast days?
He knows. He's
No,
like my Aunt
he
Kelly.
can't call right now.
Aw.
They're in the ocean.
They're out on the ocean.
Yeah, he can't call right now.
Doing sailor stuff.
Yeah, whatever the hell they're doing. I don't know what it all entails. They're doing their stuffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll use that for a tryout, maybe. So yeah, was your trial the sickness?
Just that I almost died.
You did
It was a
not.
long week.
It felt that way. And you know what? My husband, we were talking earlier about how he is brutally honest. And he like Wednesday night he started telling me that I needed to go to the doctor. And at that point I got scared because this
He
man
was
doesn't
telling
go
you
to
to
the
go.
doctor
Yeah,
for
yeah.
anything.
Rub some dirt on
And
it.
that's
Yep.
what he says. It's
Yeah.
obnoxious. And so then I'm like, man, this must be serious. And he ever so gently likes to inform me that pneumonia and bronchitis are what actually kill people. It's not actually COVID. And I'm like, thank you.
It's the symptoms of
It is more the symptoms, but it's actually COVID that shuts down other organs as well. It's
The
not
you
just
know,
your lungs.
complications.
Regardless of
whatever.
how true the comment was, it was not what I needed
No.
to hear after he told me he thought I had pneumonia.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? But, and it was, you can't get mad at him because he was just trying to be helpful. Like, you need to go to the doctor. This is serious. But I'm like, I don't think you realize how scared I am now that you're scared. So, and then the doctor, it was,
Doctor made it worse.
yes. They got me amazing medicine and I was, within, 12 hours, I started getting better. So,
I'm glad you went.
Yeah.
at the doctor, she's like, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back as COVID because I'd already done the test and I was just waiting on results. But I forgot my train of thought there. Oh yeah, but it had to have been something bacterial because bacterial is the one. Because as soon as I started the antibiotics, they put me on antibiotics to keep it from becoming pneumonia. But as soon as I started the antibiotics, I started feeling better. So it clearly, like, I think it started as like a sinus infection, something along those lines. It just spiraled out of control. But I really, I feel like I've had health issues lately. But in general, I don't get sick very often.
Not common cold types.
Yeah.
No, and not stuff that really knocks me out. Like I'll have like, oh, I have a headache today or whatever. But like,
Oh yeah, that's the worst part is I literally had a headache for about a week straight
Yeah.
and nothing was touching it.
It was scary. Like, and it almost made me more afraid of COVID because like if this was this bad, holy crap! Like,
Yeah, I get that.
so we'll see how it goes. We're still doing everything we can to be as safe as possible. I mean, Heather and I passed it around before we even knew what was going on.
Well, it started with my oldest son.
Yeah.
He passed it to me, and then when Shannon had volunteered to watch him, he passed it to her household.
Yeah. But once we realized, like, this is a sickness that's going around and it's quick, because both my kids were sick too. Luckily, not as sick as me.
The kids were over it in like 3 days versus us. It took over a week.
But we shut it down. Like, we didn't go around Mom. We didn't go around Tiffany.
No, you guys were really good.
Like, I wasn't going to the store, anything. Like, I am not playing around, and I don't want anybody to get this stuff.
Not on my watch.
Yeah, so, although I felt awful because, I mean, yes, you're pregnant too, but I'm sorry, but it came from me. It came from you.
Well,
you already had it.
It came from my crotch goblin.
Your girl.
Oh,
yeah.
God. I say that. Oh, I hate when people say that.
I was
hilarious.
totally gonna say your gremlins.
But I started getting sick on Friday afternoon. And one of my girlfriends is pregnant, and we had lunch Friday before. Right before. Like, literally within hours of leaving that lunch.
You were starting to feel crappy?
I started to feel crappy. And I felt terrible because she's understandably terrified of getting COVID. And I had no idea. I mean, I was fine, but I was like, that's when you pass it, when you don't know that you're sick. And so she was like, did you get results yet? Did you get results yet? And I was so happy to be able to tell her that they were negative.
Oh, gosh.
So, I don't know. I mean, it turned out fine. I survived. I spent a lot of time in bed. Spent a lot of time being mean to my poor husband that I probably shouldn't have.
Aw.
I raged about a kitchen. It was not good.
It happens.
So
You're like you're in your right headspace.
yeah.
It's okay.
Although the next couple of days, the kitchen was clean, so
Point got across.
I can only say I'm so sorry. But anyway, so our point of today is our 3 people who mean the most to us. Or
No.
not mean the most to us. I'm sorry. I was half reading.
Everyone's
Inspired
piggybacking off
us.
of my notes over
I know.
here.
I'm like,
I can't see them,
Good
so
luck reading my chicken scratch.
I that's funny because sometimes like I do look over and I realize like, why am I looking at this? I can't read this.
No.
It's like
It's
ancient
worth.
hieroglyphics.
It's not that bad.
But-
It's not great though.
The 3 people that we aspire to be or
Have inspired or influenced us
Yeah.
in our lives. Well,
So-
we should start off by saying when we first started talking about this subject, that all right off the bat, our very first person that is most influential, inspires us, and that we most aspire to be like is our mommy.
Mommy.
So for number
obviously.
1 would be our mommy.
Yeah.
And there are many, many reasons why. And shall we share some now?
sure.
Perseverance.
That's mine.
She don't
Perseverance.
ever give up.
No.
Our mommy taught us that you got to keep on trucking.
Even when you got
work,
nothing.
Work.
When you hit a roadblock, turn left.
Yes, and that was definitely. I try to think of 3 things to kind of go along with each person too, so that I have.
You're always
some
so
reasons.
organized, and we're like,
Which is crazy because I don't.
We're just like by the seat of our pants.
yeah. It's working
funny.
though.
I mean,
Perseverance though was the top of my list.
Yeah.
My next thing is that you know what? Something I always loved about Mom is she always told me and told us that no matter what kind of circumstance, no matter what kind of trial, no matter how shitty of a person that you have been, that there's always chance to do better. You always have a choice. That life is what you make it, and you can't just like cop
Dwell.
out onto
Yeah.
well, this is the way it is. Like for instance, for me, in a big way that my mother taught me this is because I had my biological father was not really there for me as a father when I was younger. And I had a hard time with it. And I had some other family that would just be like, well, you know, he just doesn't know better. It's in his nature. It's not in his nature. His
Made
father wasn't
excuses.
there. Like, you should just appreciate him for what he is. And my mom would always be like, and with that, I always sought that love and felt like, what can I do to, you know, get him to engage more? What can I do to be a better daughter so he sees me?
Yeah.
You know? And mommy was like, no. People
it's
make a choice.
nothing you did,
if
nothing you will ever do.
Right.
It is that person's choice to stay away.
Now that choice might not be the easiest choice. It might be hard. It might take you a long time. You might struggle. But there is always a way to change it.
Yeah.
And we're not saying like if you did something really bad that like that means that you are going to be forgiven or that you'll necessarily have redemption. But I feel like making that point to change and it's within itself is a way to kind of have some kind of redemption, even without some kind of forgiveness.
Yeah,
So.
that was my. I had two other than perseverance. I did have 3 things that I didn't even realize. I was more organized than I thought. But I really appreciated that. Growing up, all our dad's situations we do have different dads, but they're all very unique.
Yeah.
They were all involved a little bit differently. Mine was, when he was there, he was great, and then he wasn't there. Because he made poor choices. He's since come around, and he's an amazing, amazing asset to my life. I'll get into that later. But
another day, another story.
But I just always appreciated the fact that she always let me make my own opinion.
Your own decision, or your
own opinion on that person.
Form your own opinion.
For my own
I see
opinion.
what you're saying.
It was never. She was angry because she had every
Oh,
right
yeah.
to be.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was treated very poorly. And justifiably so. She could have been like, no, he's an asshole. I don't want anything to do with him. But she didn't. Anytime he was willing to take that step, she was right there to take that step to meet him in the middle. And he didn't always deserve that.
No.
And I think she showed a lot of grace. And that, I think, was huge to me. Because I wouldn't have the relationship that I have with my dad had she not been that way.
And I think that because we grew up seeing that, even with my biological father, who to this day still is not in my life, and strictly is on his choice, because mom let us form our own opinions and everything. I tried reaching out multiple times. I can count on probably one hand the amount of times I've seen him.
Yeah.
But I think that has a lot to do with how sorry kids, how I react to my ex-husband. And let my boys form their own opinions, and
you have to trust that they're going to see what it is.
I know it's hard to
and
step
I'm
back.
trying to choose my words very wisely because I've got a kid behind the couch.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how can I put this without sounding like a jerk?
Yeah.
So I just hope one day they see him for who he is and go from there, and I hope one day he'll change for his sake, because holding all that anger can't be good for anybody.
Yeah.
But again, learn from mom, you've got to try and see the best. You can't think they're always going to be that way.
Look for the silver lining.
Yes.
Every time. Because I don't mean to talk bad about my dad, because I feel like on one hand, like whenever I talk about my dad and my childhood, like I don't know who that person is.
Right.
The dad I know now, I mean, like he's physically the same person. But there's nothing about
I would say
him.
physically, he's
No.
a better person.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, is that like his mental space, everything, he's not the same person. He's
healthier.
changed so much.
Yeah.
He got into church and he took care of his life. He really owned up for the shit that he did. And he's doing everything he can to make it right.
There you go. Yeah.
Remedy the situation, whatever. And he's doing amazing. And I'm grateful for it. But I think that without mom, that grace that mom showed, I think I would have been angry and shut off, and you had your chance, get out of my life.
Oh yeah.
And I'm incredibly grateful that I'm not that way, because I would have missed out on a lot.
Right.
I will say that's where we differ, is because at this point, that is how I see my biological father.
Well, that's fine.
I'm almost 30.
Right.
He's had 30 years, and I can still only count on one hand.
Right. And
Last
it's a
time
very
I spoke
different
to him, he
situation,
knew I had 2 sons. I told him I couldn't give him money, and that's the last time he spoke to me.
Ugh.
Oh gosh.
So
That's never good.
Well, no, my dad's never asked me for money. He's actually given me quite a bit.
Nice.
So like I said, it's very
at this
different.
point, I've got no feelings towards him. I know I am here half because of him, but that's it.
Yeah.
My dad, when talking about him, is the man who raised me, not that guy.
And then my third thing, which kind of goes with it, but she's very forgiving.
Thank God.
Hey, she can
God.
hold a grudge for a little while though.
Well, she's a Gemini.
Well, all I know is I've
So
done
she
some
knows.
pretty crappy stuff.
Oh, I put her through hell.
Yeah, we
and,
have all done our things.
And she's always, as soon as you're ready to act like an actual normal human being,
It's
she's
like,
right
all
there.
right, let's do this.
Yeah, she'll help you clean up whatever mess you made. Every time.
Crazy
True.
reasons.
Huh?
Crazy reasons.
Yeah. I'm telling
Especially when it wasn't deserved.
you. Yeah. So.
You might get that look though.
Oh, she's
Oh,
gonna.
yeah.
She's
We
gonna
still
let you
get the
go.
look.
But you'll be getting that look, and you know you are wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I appreciate that too. Like,
I know.
you need someone to call you on your shit sometimes.
Oh, it's true. You
and
definitely
she's
do.
100% willing to be that person.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, you definitely. I feel like I definitely need that in my life.
Yeah.
God knows. I had one more trait that I feel like I've gotten from mommy that I haven't shared. Well, I have. We've shared it before. So when we grew up, our mother was let us make our own choices and stuff. Like Shannon said, she let us be fairly independent within reason. And what that was for me was that she never like pushed us into any kind of religion. I never knew until I was an older child that race was an issue.
No.
I never knew that, there were bigots and
People are
racists
people.
and people that, hated people for being homosexual. Like, I remember...
She taught us to love everybody.
She tries to love everyone. Like,
at a
no matter
time
what
when
their
it wasn't
financial
taught.
situation, we will never like we never were taught to look down on anyone according to their social or their financial situations. I remember being a kid and just thinking like, okay, these things are just normal, and then realizing as I got older that like, holy crap, like there are people that don't think like that.
Yeah.
Like I remember.
It still amazes me that people don't think like that.
I know
now.
it. I know.
Well,
it.
yeah, but there was, I remember, like, in, like, early in the school years, and I think it was, like, somebody made fun of me for being white, and I was like, what? What are you talking about?
I don't think I had any
We didn't grow up with
actual
anything
issues.
like that. Like,
Oh, I have, yeah.
really?
I'd
Yeah.
say even
No,
for being a
There
like,
were some mean
Other
girls in my
things.
class.
I had other things.
No, I was never actually picked on or anything in school.
Really?
School wasn't a bad experience for me other than the fact that I struggled with it.
Yeah.
But
yes.
as far as social statuses go, I never had issues. I
No,
got along with
that's
everyone.
great. I did a
kind of
little
had
bit.
groups in every category.
Yeah, I was like that
A
too.
little
Like
ridiculous.
elementary, there was like the teasing and stuff that kids do. But as far as like middle and high school, like I never really had like a group. Like I got along with like everybody.
Same.
Yeah.
Similar to. I didn't really have like a group. I went to St. Augustine High School. It's an arts-based high school, and at the time I went there, they were like just getting their accreditations for that. So like everyone was into some kind of like, I was hung out with even like the jocks or the nerds. Like everyone was still doing other things like arts and
Yeah.
theater and music, and so like you had more of a blend. Like we didn't have as much that like clicky
Yeah.
feel at
Like
our
the
high school
snobbiest-
that you
the
see like on
snobby
TV and
areas. You
stuff.
don't
So I
get
think that
that.
helped.
Yeah. And I think also, like, just an extra thing that I just thought of that I appreciate, because I didn't realize how great it was until I was an adult. But we were always in sports or whatever, and you had your theater and then at modeling at one point, and all these kind of different things. How in the hell did she do it?
I don't know.
Like,
She worked her butt off.
Yeah.
That's
how. I know
crazy.
exactly
And,
how
like,
she worked nonstop.
I thought I appreciated it then,
Right.
but now, like,
As an
I
adult,
appreciate
yes.
it
you
so
see how much it all costs.
Not only is it expensive, but it's the time, and she was always working so much.
Yeah.
That it was just amazing.
I will say this topic really got me thinking of how much of an ass I was as a kid, because I was the worst out of all three of us, and I will not deny that any day.
Someone's got to take place. That's not fair. She had a phase. It wasn't like your entire life.
Such a phase.
It was
though.
like 5-7
It was
years.
like when she hit puberty until she graduated high school.
I was trying to be graceful.
No.
It was a
I was
hormone
an
thing,
ass.
I think.
And it didn't come like until we did this topic. I didn't really sit down and like think like, holy, like I've always been really appreciative. She never gave up on me, and she could have tons
You
of
were
times.
hard.
Yeah.
I was insanely difficult, and I'm getting payback. But to realize how much of an ass I was, but she still tried to get me into horseback riding lessons, tried to do all these things I wanted to do, and encourage all these things. And
to find your way, because
and to help me process all those emotions I was going through. And granted, yes, I had my own weird diagnosis and depressions and all that.
Yeah. She was up against a lot.
Yeah. So I appreciate everything she did for me, and she realized how much better I am as a mom because of how good she was as a mom, or is as a mom, not was.
Well, yeah, we were just talking about like growing up, so I see what you said was, but yes. So we love our mommy. We're very grateful for everything.
Did you have any?
I think she kind of tagged on to all of ours.
Just making sure before we tidied it up.
That last bit was kind of mine, but okay.
Oh, that's fine. I just want to make sure that we got everything in before we like tidied everything
up.
up.
So we love you, mommy, for being so much more than you ever had to be. So much.
For not getting up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know it was hard. So who would like to go next? Number 2, or should we just go through number 2s and then our number 3s?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll
What's
start
your number
out.
2?
So my number 2 is my Aunt Kelly. So all of my people, spoiler alert, are family. I'm a very family-oriented person. So
Mine's
like
not.
even the handful of friends that I have are friends that I've had for a long time. Like I'm friendly, but like my people are always pretty much the same, like core people. And starts with my main family and then it kind of branches out, but like family is a huge part of that. So I picked my aunt after my mommy because for a few different reasons. So my Aunt Kelly is actually the baby sister to my biological father. And when I was a kid and he was kind of in my life, he kind of wasn't. I was basically like, and I hate to say this because I know if she were listening to this, she would probably not like to hear this, but I'm just speaking from my point of view as a child. Like, he was not always there for me. It always felt like I was just like, oh yeah, I have this other kid too. And I hated that. I wanted nothing but for him to love me and for him to be proud of me and accept me. And there always just felt like
you weren't quite there.
Not until later on in life, and then unfortunately we never really got a chance to kind of build a bridge like I would have hoped as adults because he passed away. But in those formidable years when my mom, our mom was on her own before our dad came along, my aunt was like a second mom to me. She would get me on weekends. She would get me a lot of weekends where I wouldn't go to my dad's, but I would go from my mom's house and I would go be with my aunt. And like when I was younger, she didn't have any children. And she literally just like took the place of my dad. If I needed something for school, and like, mom has 3 of us and was a single parent for many years. So like, she would help out. Like, let me get this for you. Oh, I wore a hoodie in my high school years. I was very self-conscious. I had large bosom. I know you couldn't tell by looking at me now, but like I was very self-conscious. And so like I wore hoodies a lot, even in summer. And, my hoodie died and I had it for like, years and it died. And she was like, your hoodie is falling apart. Like, let me get you a new hoodie. And like took me and bought me like a $40 hoodie. And I remember brand new.
And like how good that was.
Yeah, from Hot Topic. Took me to the mall and everything. And I just remember like, that's just one little for instance,
Well, just a side interjection.
Yeah.
I appreciate her and I look up to her because she would take us all
of us.
For
I don't remember that.
She did. Little. I remember she had the house that was by, was it Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut house, yeah. I loved that house.
And we'd have pizza, and it was like, it was an adorable house. I loved it.
She would take all of us.
That must have been really
I remember we would make, sometimes she would take, do you remember Amanda and them lived across from us when we lived on 2nd Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
She would take all of us.
Like
her and my aunt Christine. And like we would make like peanut butter and jellies, and then we would make so many peanut butter and jellies to take with us to the beach that we would like stuff them back in the bag.
Just use the bag.
And like zip it, zip tie it up. Or not zip tie it, but you know what I'm saying?
She was definitely influential.
Yeah.
For, like 100%.
So she's always been a really big support for me. She's always been there for me. Like when we went on the road, not a lot of people were super supportive of it. I'm sure mommy as a parent, she didn't want us to go. Obviously, it was scary for her.
She still doesn't want us to go anywhere.
I know she doesn't want us to leave ever, but I get it. I wouldn't want my kids to leave either. Anyhow, when we were on the road and we were struggling to get back home, you know, no one was able to help us out. And I am speaking financially, and obviously there are very many ways that she's been supportive over the years aside from financially, but like she sent us, was not even a question. Oh, you're stuck? Oh, you're trying to get home? Oh, you're out of money? Where can I wire you some money? Sent us like $250, paid us for gas, paid us to eat, and to help us get home, and never, ever, ever, ever said anything to us about it. Like, it was not oh, well, I had to pay you to get you guys to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she
It
could
was
have been
never
nasty
hung over your
about
head
it.
about it.
Never has held it over my head. Never has asked for 1 red cent back. Nothing.
And most
So,
people do.
It will at least come back up to haunt
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So she was like, "What? You need some help? I can help. Let's get you guys taken care of."
Well, I appreciate who she is as a person, because she's also a nurse.
Yes.
And she's, with all this stuff that I've had going on, she has been my go-to.
Oh yeah.
And has been so amazing. I trust nobody more. Like, if she says
Me
I'm
too.
okay, like, she lets me send her gory pictures of my open wounds to, like, give me her opinion on, like,
Yeah.
can I, like, bandage this up, or do I need to go to the hospital? Like,
Yeah.
I so appreciate how giving she is, because a lot of people would get so annoyed, but there's just, unless she's secretly annoyed and
No,
not telling me.
this is something she has great patience with, and that's actually one of my other points is that
Oh.
she's always been an advocate for not just me but for all of us, especially when it comes to medical stuff. Like, I remember when I was in the hospital and I had Nova, that the nurses weren't really like treating
Anytime
me
we've
that-
been in the hospital, she is
Oh,
always
yeah.
the first one to come.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing? I do remember that because she checked on me
I
when I
have
had
friends
Matthew.
in the hospital, and she's like, "Did you know your friend is in the hospital?" I checked on them. Don't worry, they're
Yeah.
okay. But like when I had Nova in the hospital, I remember some of the nurses were not like being very kind to me. Like, you know, I was 19, I was on Medicaid, and I felt like they were just
Judging.
being a
Yeah.
little judgy.
Mhm.
Don't you know? As soon as my aunt came in and she was like, "Oh, they haven't brought you this? What about this?" And I was like, "Well, I've asked, but like they haven't, and I don't know what's going on." And she's like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
And then she's like calling them, she's sending them out to go do things for me. No, she needs this kind, not this kind. And like really was a voice for me when I felt like I didn't have a voice, which is
Yeah.
great. She'll stand up for you. I
Yeah,
love that
it was
about her.
like probably almost 10 years ago now. But remember whenever I had a really bad kidney infection, but I didn't
yeah.
have insurance. So I waited until I was really, really sick.
Really sick, yeah.
Like, my kidney was so enlarged, it was on my sciatic, and I could hardly walk, kind of thing. Like, it was bad. I was very close to what is it called? When your kidney shut down?
Kidney failure.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a different name for it. But either way,
Maybe.
as soon as she found out that I was sick, she's like, Shannon,
Jaundice?
no.
It's
It's like a D.
Oh, that is your liver. You're right.
But she's like, you will get to the hospital right now. And I was like, are you
Do you
kidding
think
me?
dialysis, like after, if you have kidney
Maybe.
issues, you need to get dialysis? 'cause
Maybe.
it cleans the blood for you since your kidneys aren't functioning. That's
Either
probably
way,
what you're thinking.
it was real bad. And I wasn't going because I didn't have insurance. And she's like, absolutely not. She helped me get set up with the people to pay the bills back. Everything I needed to know about making sure my credit stayed, because that was something I was worried
That's
about.
the crap no one wants to deal with.
Right,
too.
and
The stuff
she
people dread.
she went in and she's like, I remember she met me down at the
The
emergency
lobby.
room.
Oh, yeah.
And she talked to the doctor. She's like, I want this, I want this, I want this, like all
Oh,
these
yeah.
different tests.
Very firm on those things,
Yeah,
too.
and he's like, well, I don't know. She's like, just do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you the nurse or the doctor?
Oh no, nurses get pushy when they have a patient. They're advocating for that patient. They're like,
Yeah.
no, doctor, you're doing this, and this is what's getting
Well,
done.
nurses spend the most time with the
Yes.
patients, and they know. I don't want to say like they know better, but they know they're more aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Day to day, minute to minute.
Yeah.
The
So I
doctor's
was
in there
super
5 minutes
appreciative
where
of
your
her.
nurse is with you all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So I've always looked up to her.
Let's see. Oh, number 2 for her, I also wrote always up for an adventure, which I think it's kind of funny you brought up my aunt is a water sign. She's a Scorpio, and she loves the ocean. She loves the ocean. I don't know that I know anyone else that really loves the ocean as much as she does. So especially if it's like a beach adventure, there's been times where like, I don't know. And she's like, let's go to the beach, load up, let's go.
Oh, fun, yeah.
She's more adventurous than I am. Like, I'm more like, I don't know, let's like figure it out, let's make a plan. She'll be more spontaneous.
Yeah. It's nice to have those kind of people in your life that will pull you out of your shell.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and we've had a lot of fun adventures together. I guess that's it. We already talked about how she's supportive. One of those is that she's always there to catch me if I fall. You know, I might get okay, just like with mom, you know, but like she'll be there. You better believe it, and it doesn't.
They're not
even
gonna
matter.
let you forget that it was a stupid choice that
Yes.
made you end up there. But they're gonna help you out of it.
Right.
But they're gonna tell you it was stupid because they're gonna make sure that you don't do the same thing again.
Well, they're
that you
hoping.
learn.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're gonna do all they can to make sure that you don't do it again.
How about you, Shannon? Who is your second choice?
Well, mine seems like silly because
No.
the one I want to say for last is kind of like a twofer, but you'll see.
Okay.
But my second person was actually my main boss because I aspire to be everything that she is.
You
She's
talk
fair.
about her often. Yeah.
She's amazing. I don't know, like, how she sees so much more in me than I do. And she's an advocate for me. There's been, we've talked a lot about the issues that I had, and she's like, no, you're not going anywhere. So what job do you want?
It's awesome.
Like, it wasn't exactly like
she
that.
sees your value.
Yeah, she did. She said, you're, I forget the word, but pretty much a key player, valuable, and she, not only does she see the good in me, but she voices it, and it makes me believe it.
Right.
And she's been completely, just a huge part of where I am in my career. Because without her taking the chances on me that she has, I wouldn't be where I am. So I am eternally grateful. Not that she watches this, but if you ever get this, Kathy, I am eternally grateful for everything and all the opportunities because I am at a point that I'm really happy.
Awesome. That's not always the case when it comes to, what you do for work. So.
No, and I don't think even in a corporate environment, I feel like it's more likely that you won't like what you do, because it can be stringent and it can be very frustrating. A lot of glass ceilings, and there's none of that. She puts up with 0 of that.
Nice.
So I'm just grateful to have kind of found my place, and I owe my career to her. As weird as that sounds, but.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so mine is kind of a combination one.
Okay.
It is both of you.
Oh. I started to do that, but I didn't want to be sappy.
Oh.
Well, I have to.
Yeah, I like it.
Because
I'm gonna be sappy.
Don't be sappy, because I'll be sappy. I'm pregnant. I'm emotion. I'm
My
already all
moon time.
Yeah. Oh God. But I've seen both of you come from the little that we've had, and Tiffany, I've seen you go from just a rock star, hands-on, stay-at-home mom with insanely smart kids, and knowing the struggles we all had in school. Well, not Shannon, she doesn't count. That's true. We had in school. It's not that we're dumb, but I was like, the way this is coming out, it's not sounding good.
No,
but
we get it.
The
You're
fact
fine.
that you were so quick to getting Nova reading and them knowing how to read by their 3 or 4 is just amazing, and it just inspires me to try and be a better mom and be more hands-on. And I know that I can go to either of you anytime I need anything. And Shannon, I've seen you go from minuscule jobs that don't mean anything to working your ass off. I've made this an X-rated one, have I? Or explicit.
You're fine.
To having a great job and a great you have the opportunity, or you're in a position where you can work abroad for a month, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's pretty
freaking
crazy.
inspiring.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like much until you like really look
See
at
what we've all
it
come
long
from.
term. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't want to be too emotional, so I'm gonna stop.
I know. I can see
I gotta stop.
you. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm definitely very proud of myself. So
I
it's
just
nice
know
to
no
see
matter
other people notice it too.
what I've been through, what I'm going through, or what I will go through, is I can go to both of you, whether it be for different opinions on things. I know
you don't, like,
you're
hear
going
our different
to.
opinions and then try to like
I
find
do.
the middle
I do
ground.
that quite often, actually.
Because probably
It's probably
She and
different.
Shannon, for a
We
lot
are
of times, I
probably
go
the
for
most
like,
different.
I need my witty comebacks. What do I say? How do I reply to
you need
this?
some sass.
Yes.
If only he knew how many emails came from me.
I'm like, okay, Shannon, here, type it out. How do I need to reply? And then Tiffany, I know no matter what it is, I can talk to you about, whether it be something silly or something not a lot of people can talk to their siblings about.
Right.
I know y'all are both people I can go to, and y'all are kind of my voice of reasons.
Yeah.
Voices of
and
reason.
I would like to say, I feel like we try not to judge, so that probably
Yes.
helps.
It helps
You know,
a lot.
we might give you a little like,
What the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
but you do you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love
We
that.
are especially lucky. Like, I realize most siblings, I mean, maybe it's more common than I thought. I don't know. But in my circle of people that I see, they're not this close to their siblings.
Yes.
Oh,
Same.
yeah.
They might not hate them, but they're definitely not on the same level.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for our relationships.
Yeah.
What's number 3?
Oh goodness. Okay, so number 3 goes to our dad. And
Uh-huh.
I say that,
It's mine.
of course. I say that our dad because obviously we've talked before in here. We have different biological fathers.
So when we say our dad, we're talking about, in all technical terms, our stepdad. But to us, he's never been stepdad because he's raised me.
Yeah, like
And
in a
he is my
technicality,
dad.
he's a stepdad, but he's our dad.
There's
Yeah.
no man that has made a bigger impact on my life than he has.
Mhm.
And it's kind of interesting because where you feel like he's just always been your dad, for me it
You
wasn't
had to
like
grow
that.
that bond.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that for us. We got along right away. He liked music that I was into, so that was exciting. But it was hard for me to feel comfortable with him in like an authoritative parental kind of position, at least in the first handful of years. And it's
Yeah.
because it was me and mommy against the world for so long. Like, we were raising you
But
guys.
somebody coming in that bubble.
Yeah. And like, kudos to him because not only did he, get with a woman already had 3 kids, but he was, how old was he? 25?
No, he was younger.
He was
I
21
was
when
gonna
him
say
and mom got
21.
together.
Yeah, I knew he's early 20s.
Yeah.
21, and not only do you have 1 kid, but you have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, right off the bat. And I remember early on, we weren't
3
getting
kids that
along.
can talk back.
Oh yeah.
We weren't even babies.
Yeah.
So
I remember early on us having a little bit of a rift where he was maybe trying to take on a little bit more of that parental help mommy out with the parenting. And I remember getting into a huge fight with him, and then later coming back and having to talk with him and basically just being like, I don't need a dad. I don't need a dad. I haven't had one.
I've been fine without one.
I've been fine without one. I was like, but what we can be as friends. And I remember he was just like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
Something
Such a
like
Matt
that.
say.
Yeah.
Very simple. And then we were good. And he's always been very supportive. He's an amazing person in our lives. And so I'll go over the 3 things I picked that are, the reasons that I feel like he's this person in my life. And the first one would be that he taught us that hard work pays off.
Yes.
Yeah.
He taught us, just like mommy taught us perseverance, he taught us hard work pays off. And
You want something, it's not
doing
going to
your
be handed
damn
to you.
self.
Never
Yes.
will be handed to you. And I am
Man.
so great. I remember being like a teenager and being so pissed that they wouldn't just give us. So like
because the other kids get
like
that
they
kind
gave
of
us
treatment.
plenty.
I had the
But-
option to have my truck given to me if I made A's.
Well,
But
yeah.
again, I was not grade
But-
at school. So I had to buy his truck off of him for me.
Yes, and those kind of things I think are amazing, and I'll incorporate them into my own parenting as well.
I think it's important.
I'm grateful that things weren't handed to me because I appreciated them.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
So he's been monumental in our lives. So he was that was my next person was.
Of course. He's probably all
Mine,
over.
well, I started to say both my step-parents, but then I feel like I'm leaving my dad out because it's hard to pick just 3.
It is.
So I'm sorry, I'm going against the rules. But my dad, my stepdad, and my stepmom. So
Are you number 3?
they're all my number 3. My parents, in addition to mommy. Because with, I don't know, with like all the things that you just said about Matt, like he taught us how to work really
I figured you
hard.
would.
Oh, I didn't mean to like cut you off.
It's okay. Go. I'll go piggyback.
Same.
He taught me what hard work is, and he's always been not that he wouldn't care if you were drinking, but if I was in a situation that I needed out of, I could call him, no questions asked.
We all got that
Yep.
treatment. Yeah.
It doesn't matter to this day. If we're still like, hey, I'm gonna go out drinking, he's like,
Call
keep
me
your phone
if you
on
need
you.
me.
Call me if you need me. I'll leave it on. He doesn't sleep with his phone on.
No, I try to call him in the 2:00 in the morning.
It's
again
off.
to nobody.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. You call him, I've got this car problem, I've got this,
Oh,
or
yeah.
anything like that. He's always been there for us, and he did not have to.
No.
Absolutely.
He could have done 10% of what he's done for us, and still been considered a good dad.
Yeah, he was grateful to take the as much of a place or in a parental place in our lives as we were ready to have him be in,
And never forced
which
it
is
on us.
wonderful.
No.
Yeah.
And then with my stepmom, I hate the term step everything.
I know.
So do
me
I.
too.
So, Krista, if you're
I like,
watching,
like,
I consider you my
bonus.
mom. I don't think you're a step.
Oh yeah, I love Kristen too.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
She's the
She's
sweetest.
amazing. I will get into like my dad and why he's great, which is funny that I'm going to talk about that after making it sound like he's a bad person, but we'll get there.
No, he's
people
come
change.
around.
Yeah, but it's because of her, 100%. He did the work, yes, he did, but she has had so
Pushed
much
him
grace.
along.
She's the spark.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
she
light, the
100%
fire.
sparked it, and I'm eternally grateful. And then, she never had children of her own, and she could look at me and be very resentful if she wanted to, and she's never been. She's always been very encouraging of a relationship with my dad. She's always been right there as my mom. She's never pushed
Loving,
anything on me.
welcoming. She's
I-
wonderful.
Especially whenever it comes to the mental health issues that I have, she's just a sounding board, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then my dad, because he taught me that it doesn't matter what the hell you've done, you can work your ass off and you can come back.
from it.
Oh yeah.
Because he wasn't always great. And I'm not don't get me wrong, he was absent. He didn't beat me or anything like that. So maybe it would be different. But he was just absent. He made some poor choices. His life was on a different level for a long time. That he wasn't ready to be or able to be what I needed as a kid. But I want to say maybe when I was 16, 17, he started turning his life around, and he's not looked back. And I am incredibly proud, and I hope that, God forbid, my life ever derail, I can remember and go back the right way. Because he's shown me that it
can
doesn't
be
matter
done.
how bad it was. You can, don't go killing people.
Right.
But-
Yeah, you're gonna always have that consequence.
Well, you'll always have
but-
regrets.
You'll
Yeah.
always have consequences, and you'll always have regrets, but you can work your ass off and you can make life worthwhile and you can make amends. And he's done that, and he's worked really hard, and I'm really proud of him, and I want to be that way. Hardworking and forgiving. What's your third?
Matt.
Oh, right, you said Matt.
Not
I
you.
forgot that I curtailed.
Yes,
That's
it's your
okay. So yes, back to our dad. Something else that I feel that I've learned from him is that yes, it's good to be helpful. It's good to do for others, but do not let people walk all over you.
Yeah.
It's taken me many years to learn this.
It's
okay. Calm down.
It's his turn.
Sorry, guys.
Volume.
It's a rough life. Didn't I say that earlier?
Someone's always going to be a little upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyhow, like, that's something that it took me kind of a long time to really, like, come to terms with or to fully understand. But I definitely feel like he is one of the people in my lives that really taught me that. Like, why are you doing that? You know, like,
Yeah.
why? And he's made me question, like, why I would blindly do for others. Because that's happens.
Yeah.
Like, acts of
And
service
not
is my
to get
love
taken
language.
advantage of.
And I've definitely put myself in situations where I get taken advantage of, and then am offering to keep getting taken advantage of, even though I'm in a crappy situation. So, like, he's really, really taught me that, like, you know, to value
Your time.
my time. Yes, which is crazy. He does all kind of stuff for us.
I didn't really realize how much I picked up on that, but you're right. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I have one more. You go first.
Okay, so for me, it's the fact that he didn't have to stay. Even, I know I caused a lot of issues they had for different times because of the issues I had, and still he chose to stick around to try and help me through my issues, and again try and help Mom just kind of work it all out. And I was not grateful for them or to them at that time.
Yeah. You were terrible to be
I
around.
was
For
horrible.
everyone.
Horrible. And I there's not even like enough words in the dictionary to express my gratitude for them for not giving up on me.
Yeah, it would have been much easier for him at several
To just
points
walk away.
to just walk away and cut his losses. So I
But
feel you
he
there.
never did, and he definitely stayed like a
dad.
like a dad.
Yeah.
Like a good dad.
Yes, like a very good dad. And again, he taught me to just, you gotta be headstrong. You gotta just keep keep going. And thanks to him, I can change my own oil. I can change my tires.
I didn't do that.
I can
Well,
do those things.
I can do all
I
those
can change the oil. That's not true. I can change the
change
tire.
the oil. I might not be strong enough to get certain things off, but I can.
Yeah.
Because of him, I'm who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think without him, with Mom, I don't think we would have gotten where we did.
Yeah, it could have maybe changed you guys' relationship.
Yeah.
To where you are at this point in life.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I think he filled the gap because
Yeah,
without him, we
that's
would have
awesome.
been just with a bunch of daddy issues. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, listen, everybody got their daddy issues, but you're right. You're
But
right.
he 100% is who I see as my dad. I don't count my biological father whatsoever because he never shaped me who I am.
no, he had nothing to do with that.
My first son is named after him.
My daughter's middle name is Leona, which is after him. His
Yeah.
middle name is Leon. So he's obviously made an impact.
Yeah.
and-
So I should say the first boy of the family
Yeah.
is named after him.
Yeah. All right. Well, did you? I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Cut you off. All right. So to kind of round it all out, the thing that I learned most from our dad is that men can be good.
Yes.
Men
That's
can be
huge,
good.
yeah. Mhm.
Not all men are horrible. Not all men are
Going to leave.
Before him, our mom, bless her, she wore her heart on her sleeve. She fell in love easily. She fell in love with people that promised her the moon and, gave her Cracker Jacks,
Yeah.
or left her. And I grew up, seeing her go through, I don't want to sound like she went through a bunch of men because that's not the case, but like seeing her go through a handful of boyfriends and like,
And just people
always
that treated her like crap.
Yeah, and always they end up treating her like crap, and always like seeing that hurt in her, and thinking, oh hell no, I'm not going through that. That's a big reason why when I was younger, I didn't think I ever wanted to be married. I'd seen like, you know, how these kind of things can go. Yeah, and if it wasn't for Matt being in our lives, I don't know that I would have had I mean, like, there are other men in our lives that definitely have left an impression on me, but no man has proved to me that men are good. They can be good. They can make that choice than our dad has, you know? And it made me feel like, okay, well, maybe I do take a chance on this man I love. Maybe I do, like, open myself up to what this could mean, you know? And I'm grateful for that, because otherwise I would probably not have what I have today.
Yeah.
I would probably be a lot different. So, yeah.
I agree with that.
So yeah, we turned into more than 3 people, but it's so hard to pick.
It is very hard to pick.
I won't pick. I refuse.
I know,
So-
and it's tricky too, because when we did this, it's like, well, I can pick like Mother Teresa,
Right.
or, you know, like there are many Ruth.
I was like,
Bader
I
Ginsburg.
even was like, oh,
Like-
I don't want to stick to family. Let me just look up these people. I'm like, I just don't feel like I have that.
Connection.
Yes.
Right.
So I was like, nope, I know who I'm picking. That's what it's gonna be, and hopefully not be an emotional episode.
We
We
made
did
it.
pretty good, yeah. We did pretty good.
And I apologize. I'm not as good with my words as they are, but
Oh, well, goodness.
I
I think it's not that
you
I'm
did
good with
anything
words. I
wrong.
just keep talking.
Eventually, 1 out of 20 is going to be right.
Something's gonna work out.
Her word volume is higher, is
Yes.
all. All right, what are our triumphs for the week?
trials. Nope.
Triumphs. The positive. You want to go first? Triumph.
I don't really have a triumph.
Nothing, not even something small. I only have something small this week, which is fine.
No, I was really looking forward to having a week of fun with the boys because I was off work and I was sick.
No.
So it kinda sucked.
And then you were miserable, and
But you're getting better.
I am, but I still have a lingering cough, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
that is annoying.
Oh,
can't
I
stand
got a
that.
bassinet.
Oh,
There you
oh, it's
go.
nice too.
It's very cute.
Very
Mhm.
nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, so I think
Getting
I
ready for
pretty
baby.
much all the big items already.
Yeah.
So I only need some clothes, some diapers, and all that left for the baby.
Good, I like buying that stuff better anyway.
Everyone does.
Mine is while I was very sick, I had a couple of days that I either took off work or I just worked bare minimum kind of thing. And just I kind of just had like a moment of appreciation. Like my boss was like, "No, you're taking today off." And I'm like, "What?" Like, and just
It's a good boss.
the difference in where I'm at now, and I just feel like it works a lot better. Like, I'm just feeling very grateful and very in my place. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm working with people that I really like. It's not always going to be perfect, what job
Right,
is,
right.
but I'm just appreciating that right now it's really good.
Heck yeah. All right. So for me, I didn't have really a super exciting week. It was just a normal, mundane, get through the week kind of week. But I did get some really super fun belated birthday mail. I got this pretty dress. I don't know if
Where
you
did
can
you
see
get
it.
it from?
I like.
Mine.
I don't know if you guys can see the color.
Cute.
Wanna be on
Careful,
the
you don't
right
want it
channel?
to be see-through.
Oh, well, I mean, you're not seeing it.
With
Anyhow,
that light, it's intense.
I got this beautiful belated birthday dress from A Spoonful of Colors. I follow her account on Instagram, and I have several pieces now. But she had a dress that I really liked the style of, and I was like, oh, I really love this. I should also say that she is a one-woman, small shop, artist that
Yeah.
she's the only person that is working for, she works for herself, and she's a small business, and her work is art. So I have a couple pieces by her. She's sponsored a few of my yoga challenges that I've hosted in the past, and I saw a dress that I really liked the style of, but she only had one left, and it was in a color scheme of a dress I already own, the same color scheme.
Oh, yeah.
And so she was so sweet, and so just worked so hard for me. She said they discontinued that dress and that she would try to find some more. And she sent me like 10 other samples of dresses that she's like, I couldn't find one like that style, but you know, if you like any of these, let me know. And went out of her way and just took extra time with me, and she helped me pick this lovely dress. And I already knew I wanted this color scheme because it's like different than the other items I had, because I didn't want to get like the same stuff. And she worked really hard on it, and I love it so much. It's super cozy and comfy, and I just appreciate that. As you know, I have my little tiny Etsy that is like a hobby business.
That's why I prefer to shop like local or small when I can, because it's that experience. Like, take my money, I don't care, as long as like you're gonna be good. Like, I love it.
And I'll be honest, like the items that I do have from her, all of I have 2 dresses, a scarf, and I have a
it looks like really good quality.
It's very comfortable, and that's what I was gonna say, is like all of the clothing is really comfortable. It's really easy to wear. Like, I have this, I'm wearing this just like loose and moo-moo like today. But also like I could belt it up and like, you know, make it a little bit more dressy. And I love that about her pieces, that they're wearable and functional, but can also be like dressed up, you know? Anyhow, I just wanted to shout out again to A Spoonful of Colors. If you can check her out on Instagram. You can just Google A Spoonful of Colors and her shop will pop up. Everything she does is a little different, and everything is a little unique. And I cannot make it a day out of the house wearing something of hers that I don't get at least one compliment. I wore this a couple of days ago, because I just got it, so I wore it twice. But I wore it a couple of days ago, and we went to like Aldi and Target, and I got, you know, 2 quick little runs, and I got a compliment like right off the bat.
Oh,
I know.
And that always makes you feel better.
Yeah, and it's like something unique and different, like, but cozy. You know what my style is? Close to pajamas as possible without looking like you're a homeless wreck, you know? So anyhow, I think that's about it. I guess that's about it.
See you guys next week, assuming...
Oh, you know what? I would love to hear you guys. Sorry, I'm always talking. I would love to hear who your biggest inspirations are.
Yeah, for sure.
Who has influenced your life most, and in what ways? If you want to share, please put it in the comments below. And
really think about it, because it's like it's a good like mental health exercise. It makes you like really grateful for the people you have in your life, that you maybe not overlooked, but for lack of better words, like you overlook how meaningful that they really are in your life.
So true.
So
don't forget that you can email us or drop us a comment to give us ideas for topics. If you have any questions for us, you can find us at 3 Sisters 1 Heart Podcast at gmail.com, 3 Sisters 1 Heart Podcast on Instagram. You can also find us at 3 Sisters 1 Heart Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and Libsyn.
all the things.
All right. Bye.